We have a lot of high quality rivers and streams and lakes in this part of the country. People use them. People enjoy the clean water. They get out and fish and swim and boat. And we have some great drinking water supplies here in Southwest Missouri. So for all those reasons, people care about water here, I think. And so it's important that we find ways to make sure we have clean water for future generations.
For any project to work, number one, you have to make sure that people understand what the problem is, why things are happening that way, and then you have to involve them in the solution.
You know, we've been in the dark for so long, you know, this is my property, I can do what I want, you know, that's kind of the mindset. But you've got to back away from that and say, hey, you know, what are my kids going to do when this is gone?
I want to feel like when I leave this earth that the land that I was steward of, so to speak, I want to leave it better than it was when I got it. And I think I have.
These are stories of success, about what's working, about how individuals can collectively change their future.
Got it? Thanks for helping.
These are stories about complex problems and innovative solutions. Solutions that are good for the environment and good for the bottom line.
This construction that we do creates, any roof you see, any parking lot, anything is impervious. Water hits it.
These are stories about community and the central role that clean water plays in a healthy environment and a healthy economy. Mostly, these are stories about people, addressing common problems for the common good. Stories that celebrate the great strides being taken to protect our water resources.
And in August, we're holding our first training session out here. Loring, this doesn't look like a very healthy spring anymore. Didn't these people used to use this as a water supply?
Yeah, this was the water supply for the house right up here on the hill.
Goodness. It smells like rotten eggs.
We have a spring that was used as a water supply for a home in the area. It's been contaminated. It's kind of a sad but common story here in the Ozarks. Our springs are easily polluted. The whole area of southwest Missouri is underlain by carbonate rock with limestones, dolomites, which are susceptible to karst formation, which means the water going underground can erode out cavities, caves, fissures. So in effect, you have something that people have compared to a sponge. It's got a lot of holes underground that water can move rapidly through, and also any kind of pollutants or contamination from the surface can easily get down into the groundwater.
A rapidly expanding population and development, the growing needs of agriculture, livestock, and poultry operations, and a billion-dollar tourism industry present serious challenges to water quality in southwest Missouri. Stormwater runoff from farmlands, paved urban streets, and failing septic systems can carry pollutants such as garden fertilizers, ag pesticides, and even pet waste into the lakes and streams we depend on and enjoy every day. Add that to the unique karst geology of the Ozarks, and polluted runoff can harm wildlife, devalue property, and mar the landscape. Common sense tells us that it's in everyone's best interest to keep the environment healthy if area industries, municipalities, and their residents are to flourish. If not, the Ozarks risks becoming a victim of its own success. Because of the range of issues facing southwest Missouri, it's essential that an equally diverse group of stakeholders have a place at the table. Several watershed groups joined forces, and in 2005, the Water Quality Improvement Project, WQIP, was born. Senator Kit Bond, a longtime advocate for a common-sense approach to conserving land and safeguarding the environment, secured vital funding to get the WQIP initiative started.
Steve, thank you very much, and thanks so much to all of you for being here. We know the magnitude of these problems, and we think that that this is the group to solve them.
We really appreciate that interest at the federal level. You know, we've had a lot of interest at the state level, and of course locally all of our watershed groups have been working hard, as you say, for several years to improve water quality.
These success stories are all part of the project. This is Grand Falls on Shoal Creek near Joplin. The falls are a scenic wonder, but the creek itself has an even greater significance.
This is the most beautiful place in Missouri, in my opinion. Joplin is extremely lucky to have a resource like this. Joplin receives 80 to 90% of their drinking water from Shoal Creek. Generally, the water quality in Shoal Creek is very good. We do treat it to make drinking water standards. However, most of the time, turbidity is really low in Shoal Creek.
Yet even this special resource is challenged. Sections of Shoal Creek are listed as impaired by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources and the Environmental Protection Agency.
But they spend more time up here than they do at the creek. That other pond we looked at a while ago, you can see there's a lot more cow traffic around it than this one.
Right, they like that one the best.
They like it better for some reason.
Doc Mikolai is a board member of the Upper Shoal Creek Watershed Improvement Group. He's working with Drew Holt, a technical advisor to the group, on a fecal retention pond demonstration project. This simple approach gives cattle easy access to a controlled water source. Keeping cows close to the pond and out of the stream does two things. It cuts down on erosion and contamination in the stream, and it helps cattle put on weight.
Well, I bought this place, and all the water we had was the creek. So I dug 4 ponds on this 120 acres. You can see it's been 4 years now, roughly, since I've had them. The creek is clean. We saw the cows spending their time up there. Their cattle are doing better, and that's the bottom line. And if you're in the cattle business, is to make the thing profitable as you can. And that's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. I want to keep a common sense approach trying to clean up the streams where farmers like myself and others along the creek can have a method of doing it that they can live with. I feel like we're going to have some participation. I feel good right now. I'm optimistic. I like clean water. I like to see the stream clean.
South of Shoal Creek, the Elk River flows through the far southwestern corner of the state. Canoe livery operator Blake Tinsley grew up on its banks.
I remember as a kid just catching fish. You know, my brother and I had a little flat bottom boat. You know, maybe once or twice a summer you'd see somebody floating the river besides me and my brother. And it's just been really good memories.
The Elk is no longer a lonely river. Thousands of floaters arrive every year to enjoy the cool waters of the river.
All right, guys, 1, 2, 3.
And while visiting rural McDonald County, they make a substantial contribution to the local economy.
The people that we bring in that float our rivers and spend money at our campgrounds, they spend money at our grocery stores, at our gas stations, you know, and our cafes, and it's a pretty important part of the economy around here, I think.
The challenge of the Elk River Watershed Improvement Association is to balance the needs of the river and surrounding communities with the desires of the tourists who help drive the economic engine in the area.
No, that's the big draw. There's some other rivers that are close to us that, you know, they stay murky all the time because of the sedimentation in them, I mean, you can see here that we don't have that issue yet, and the Big Sugar and the Little Sugar coming together right here is the very beginning of the Elk River, and it's just beautiful from here on down. When you're a landowner along the river, you have responsibilities that most of us, you know, before I got involved in a watershed organization, we were clueless. I mean, we were doing it wrong. You know, just little things make a big difference. What I do here, you know, as far as moving gravel around or something, affects upstream, affects downstream, and education has got to be the key.